gummy bear.
It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for June 27th, 2024. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, Nintendo talks about cracking down on leaks, and everyone thinks one of the company's games is way too expensive. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host to Game Mess Mornings. It's Jan Ochoa, everybody. The transported Jan. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Grubb. Legitimately, for shoot, great.
I love to hear it. That's was it Hawaii that rejuvenated you? Did Maui do this?
Not at all, actually.
Like, you heard the skepticism in my voice. Like, you went on vacation. You can't come back from that feeling good.
No, not at all. In a weird, tragic way, coming back here made me feel 100% better.
Yeah, it's tragic, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, you know, when you get the carrot on the stick and then like, oh, I got the carrot, but I liked playing carrot on the stick.
Yeah, it's a good time for me. Very used to it. Feels familiar.
I think what it is, Grubb, is very relaxed and had a great time with my partner on vacation. Sure. And then normally when you come back from vacation, there's oh my God, I'm at work. But I think I had the benefit of before I left for vacation, it was already a smooth process because of Disneyland with the crew.
Exactly. There you go. Exactly. Yeah. Also, it's like good timing. It's a slower time right after Summer Game Fest. So coming back into it, and it's like, no, we haven't really figured out what's up for the rest of the year. We can do that now that you're back. So
fantastic.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm also happy to hear that like Dan's surgery has gone well. He's healing well, and he's feeling better.
Yes. Exactly. It's nice to hear. He's seems to be back in the swing of things over there. Still recovering. Still a mess sometimes from that recovery, but yeah, he's doing well. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to leave for my trip here pretty soon. I think we're gonna drive out on Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna just drive. It takes like 12 hours actually to get up there. It's a pretty long drive because Michigan's a big long state. Maybe it's closer to like 10, but either way, it's gonna be a drive. I'm kind of looking forward to that too. I haven't been on a long drive in a while, and I like a road trip.
Yeah. One time I drove from LA back to San Francisco in complete silence, and to my partner, it felt very eerie and off-putting, but to me, I felt at ease.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I don't know. I just get used to it. All right, we should explain what we do here. Most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with Miyamoto talks generational handover. He says we have young and brilliant developers. This is from My Nintendo News. Nintendo held its 84th annual shareholders meeting earlier, and one of the questions which came up at the event was how Nintendo's generational handover is going, considering that the legendary Shigeru Miyamoto is now 72. Mr. Miyamoto replied by saying that I consider Nintendo's generational handover to be progressing smoothly. We have developers that are young and brilliant. He thanked shareholders for asking about his health and said that he is doing very well and that he still continues to be fully involved in development of games like Pikmin Bloom. Mr. Miyamoto also said that as all the employees are growing older, he wants to ensure that the Kyoto-based company's generational handover expands to encompass even younger employees. Yeah, this is a weird one because Miyamoto is so associated with Nintendo, but the transition there is like deep into the progress of like what they were going for, where yes, he has already trained a group of developers after him to take over everything, and now they really are at a point where it's like, and now we're training the generation after that, and yet I think investors are still like, well, yeah, but we're worried about Miyamoto. Like, that is where the magic comes from. And it's like, that probably isn't true anymore. He's around, he definitely helps, but he's working on his pet projects like Pikmin Bloom and and then the movies and the parks and things like that. Yeah. So it's it's good to see, but I think people are still going to be worried when Miyamoto goes about the future of Nintendo. And it's like, I don't know, it feels like he's handling it really, really well. What do you think?
Yeah, I think more folk would be surprised to learn how less of a hand Miyamoto may have in more recent projects, or how much heavier of a hand this younger generation of developers do have in some of the games specifically. We've seen a lot of interviews come out of Super Mario Brothers Wonder about how a lot of those ideas, fresh ideas, came from fresh, younger minds of devs.
That's right.
So I think it's a bright future, and I think it's a positive sentiment to see from Nintendo that we see so steeped in like tradition and in like their specific ways of carrying out as a company, that at least on the developer side, they're like, no, rest easy. We are handling this baton pass as smoothly as possible. It's not going to be like a tip to tip type of pass, but like a firm grip. Firm grip. Dealio.
Yeah, get in there and yes, and they have a good hand on it.
And also, I feel like this generation of developers that Nintendo is fostering is like, heavily influenced by Miyamoto and like others at Nintendo, that I would hope that the type of environment that they're fostering is one of like fostering imagination, but also good growth in like a positive trajectory.
Yeah, it seems to me that they are very good already at attracting the talent of the kind of people that are like, I want to work at Nintendo, so I'm going to learn to do things the Nintendo way. And that they're like that they've easily handled. I do wonder if they have the capacity to sort of grow a future like Eiji Aonuma, where it's like that's the guy that completely took over Zelda. He's been there since the beginning, but he like stepped into the position that Miyamoto represented for Zelda for a long time, and then now he's been doing that for a long time. Do they have a way of prepping a new generation of talent that will be like, and now I am basically the head of Mario, and that's what I'm doing for forever now, and I want to like have ownership over that? Or do they want to keep them in the background, and does the company lose something by doing that? I don't know. I think we're still yet to see that. They have definitely a generation of elder statesmen that have taken over these things from Miyamoto already, but I just don't know if they're ready to do that again.
I honestly wouldn't mind if we shifted from like the singular auteur producer director way of framing like a franchise like Zelda and Mario to like a collective of folk.
That's true.
Of like this specific team, or like this group of 2-3 people are like spearheading this direction of this specific Mario or this Zelda. Like I'm not the biggest fan of Smash at all.
Sure.
But I understand that the Smash community is a rabid fan base and worships the altar of Sakurai. But I wouldn't mind in the future moving forward, like maybe Smash is built by like a collective of folk that had grown up and are maybe working at a more sustainable rate than Sakurai himself is. And like that team of whoever is spreading the responsibility, but also spreading, like bouncing ideas off of each other better than how a singular person may work by themselves, or at least a singular mind would leading a team.
Yeah, and I it seems like they are well on their way to doing that based on what we heard from Super Mario Brothers Wonder, as you said earlier. It's like, that's the description of the process of building that game, of them stopping and being like, okay, who's got an idea, and it can come from anywhere. It's like, well, that sounds perfect. That sounds exactly like a great way of making a Mario game, and it really feels like it paid off for them. And I hope that that's a process that they can replicate in the future.
Perhaps, Grubb, this future collective working on a Smash title together could be the Smash Brothers.
It could be the Smash Brothers, yes. I would like that. All right, let's go ahead to the next story here. Nintendo says it's aware of recent leaks and has taken steps to prevent them. This is from Andy Robinson at VGC. Nintendo has said it's aware of recent online leaks of its game announcements and claimed that it's taking steps to prevent them happening in the future. During the company's annual shareholder meeting on Thursday, transcribed by a Twitter user InStyles, Nintendo directors were asked specifically about a recent report that several recently leaked Nintendo announcements allegedly originated from a Google employee who accessed private videos in the Switchmaker's YouTube account. Responding, the directors said that they were aware of the media reports and claimed that Nintendo has been working with external companies to diagnose security leaks. The company has introduced new measures to its security systems, it said, and it's also working to educate employees about IT security. Nintendo leaks have become a prominent topic in recent weeks after the reports about potential Google leaks. A prominent Nintendo leaker locked their report on social media after they revealed their source of information was an employee at Nintendo of Japan. Yes, and then that's Pioro, who is a well-known social media user and regularly leaked Nintendo Direct announcements before their official publication. I think that Nintendo can sometimes feel like, do they even know what's going on here? It's okay, no, for this, they, of course, are taking it seriously, but they did have multiple points of failure here between the YouTube backend and then their own website backend, where people were seeing those things, which is probably why the IT security thing was mentioned here. They're like probably aware of that as well. The last thing we need, Jan, is a cracked down Nintendo, a Nintendo that is on high alert. They are already pretty paranoid about all this stuff, and this is just going to make it worse.
Yeah, 100%. I can't help but think, though, I can't wait for the dramatized documentary movie.
This actually wouldn't be a bad one,
to come out later of where along the chain the leak had happened. Seeing from chat that their specific steps to address this have nothing to do with how the stuff was actually leaked. So I wonder, in addition to all of this stuff that they're doing here, what they're also doing that has not been reported.
Yeah, I mean, they did not detail what they're doing in the back end of their stuff on this. This was just them talking to investors. So maybe there's more where they did say this is exactly what we're doing, and it doesn't address how things happened. But I would imagine that there's more to it than this. I mean, clearly we know, based on what happened in the last Nintendo Direct, where they did not have the websites. For people who don't remember, didn't listen to the last episode or recent episodes, Pioro says that their source probably was accessing information by getting into Nintendo's back end, where they were hosting the websites for the games that would be announced in the Nintendo Direct. Those web pages were ready to go live as soon as they were announced, and someone was able to see them and pass that on to Pioro. And then this last Nintendo Direct, none of those web pages were ready to go live. They held them back, and then subsequently there were no leaks. So they've already addressed that aspect of it. So yeah, I like I said, the way this really affects us is Nintendo can be a bit touchy about anything that happens on the internet, including coverage of video games, and we've definitely seen them get pretty weird with how that stuff works in the last couple of years. This is not going to help. It's probably just going to get kind of worse dealing with them, which, whatever, that's the price you have to pay. We already don't get, review copies. I'm not complaining at this point. I'm used to it. But it's so it's probably just going to be a little bit stranger even still going forward. All right, Donkey Kong Country Returns HD is now priced at $60. That was not previously revealed. We know that's the case now. This comes from My Nintendo News. The surprise remaster of Donkey Kong Country Returns for the Nintendo Switch has appeared for pre-order on the Nintendo eShop, and it is priced at $59.99. It will be a while before we can get our hands on it, as it's not scheduled for release until the 16th of January 2025. Either way, it is set to be a full-priced HD remaster for the Switch. There was a lot of response to this, Jan. I don't know if you had a chance, because this was you were here for the Direct, right? I can't remember. If,
I was not, but I tuned into y'all.
Right. So you might have seen it. There was some more coverage of it later, where people were comparing it to the 3DS or the Wii version. I think they were comparing it to the Wii version, yes. And they're like, some of these graphic elements don't really match up. They're not as good on the Switch HD version. Now it's not out till January, but clearly this feels like a pretty quick and dirty remaster with some improved textures here and there, and sending it to the Switch, and that's kind of all there is to it. And so people are like, this feels a little bit weird when the big boy remaster of Metroid Prime Remaster looked so good, and clearly a ton of work went into that, and that was $40. Why is this $60? And I think Nintendo hasn't responded, but I think their answer would be because we think that's what you'll pay for it. I don't know, but does this bother you?
This doesn't bother me because I have no interest in Donkey Kong, but for the DK boys and ladies and thems out there, I could see this being an issue, especially when you have that Metroid Prime Remaster being such a good product at $40.
Yeah,
that you get this at $60. I think this is just Nintendo putting it out there that you're going to pay 60 moving forward. Like, we messed up putting Metroid at 40. Moving forward, it's going to be a solid 60.
Yeah.
Except the frame rate.
I think that's a part of it is like, Metroid Prime Remaster. Yeah, it did come out relatively recently, not forever ago, but prices on everything have continued to go up, and I think Nintendo's like, we probably could have got away with charging 60 on Metroid Prime Remaster then. We definitely could have got away with it charging 60 for it now. Yeah, I think that we're just in a different world. Like, Metroid Prime Remaster came out before Twilight Princess came out for 70, or before Tears of the Kingdom came out at $70. So it's like, I think they're like, no, prices have continued to go up, and this is the new normal for these kinds of games going forward. I wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly what's happening here. But people also point out Donkey Kong does better than Metroid. It has a bigger audience, and having the sort of cheaper entryway into the franchise isn't necessary the way it might be for Metroid Prime. We're like, okay, let's get people in with Metroid Prime Remaster, and that might pay dividends down the road with Metroid Prime 4. So these franchises are just in different spots. And I'm sure that makes sense as well.
100% that makes sense. That also makes sense as to why, like, Mario Kart has never gone down in price.
Right. Yeah. So many of these games of like, God, their occasional 2-day sale every couple of years is like, hey, here it is for $45. And say, okay, I'll try to jump on.
And Nintendo knows that Mario and Sonic at the Olympics goes on sale because no one respects the Olympics anymore.
That's right, except for Nikki Grayson. That's
Sorry, Nikki.
Sorry, Nikki. I like the Olympics too, but I don't respect it. I never could. People can be critical of this, but I think the problem is right now, if you say this criticism, I don't think Nintendo hears that Donkey Kong Country Returns HD shouldn't be 60. I think they hear Metroid Prime Remaster should have been 60 instead of 40. So there's not much we can do about this. Honestly, if these complaints translate into like really like undershooting their sales target, maybe Nintendo hears something at that point. But they are very firm on their price, and they've done a lot of work to sort of get as much longevity out of their price points as possible. I don't think that they're gonna do a complete retreat if they don't get the right reaction from this game specifically.
Yeah, I didn't think about the stance that Donkey Kong has a lot more just brand recognition than Metroid does for like the general gaming audience, and that 100% makes more sense. Of course, charge more for what people recognize more often than Metroid.
Yep. Yeah, it's I think people just pay more for Donkey Kong, and it's kind of that simple. All right, a couple more Nintendo stories here. Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is the most wish-listed game of the summer showcase season. We did a story about this earlier where it was Astrobot. Things have now moved around a little bit since then, and the Nintendo Direct happened and put Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom at the top. This comes from Alana Higgs at Nintendo Life. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom has beaten the likes of Astrobot and Doom the Dark Ages to be the most wish-listed game of the summer showcase season. That's according to data from IGN playlists via GamesIndustry.biz. Prior to last week's cracking Nintendo Direct, PlayStation 5 exclusive platformer Astrobot was at the top, but Zelda has swept in at the last moment to take the number one position. The new title was a big surprise during the Direct, and the chance to play as Zelda for the first time, properly, the CDI doesn't count, along with the creative new gameplay elements, has gotten IGN readers pretty hyped up. So this list, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is number one. Then Doom the Dark Ages has actually moved up to number two. Number three is Astrobot. Then 4 is Gears of War E-Day, and 5 is Perfect Dark. Those sound like some of the biggest games announced. Yeah, and I think what this does, Jan, is this measures people actively adding it to their wish list during the Summer Game Fest season. So this won't reflect anything that it might have been anticipated before that season necessarily.
Yeah, I'm very surprised to see Doom the Dark Ages pop up at number 2 on this list. But I think seeing Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom top the most wish listed does make me hopeful for the future of Nintendo of just lean into doing more weird stuff.
Yeah.
Or not weird stuff, but differentiated products. I know that Princess Peach Showtime didn't pop off the way that Nintendo may have been hoping, but it also feels like they didn't position it in the strongest way possible, rather than Echoes of Wisdom here, where her power is tables.
Yeah, right. She's got the power of tables. Yeah, when I look at this, it's like, okay, coming out of Summer Game Fest and being like, okay, if I were to like plan like my game announcements to try to like get as much hype as possible, yeah, these are the ones I would have gone with. And like Doom: The Dark Ages being the like, hey, they're making a game that looks like it could be Hexen Hexen or Heretic, but why not just put the Doom name on it instead? Well, it turns out because that's exactly the reason you would do it, is Doom is very popular still and can get it to number 2 on the most wishlisted thing over on IGN playlists. And then I don't know the rest of the list. I think the big surprises here, Assassin's Creed Shadows number 7, Mario and Luigi Brothership at number 6, that Claire Obscure game at Expedition 33 at number 8 above Fable. That's a pretty impressive showing for that game.
Oh, okay. This title, okay.
Yes, it's the really cool looking, sort of photorealistic with a lot of extra fancy graphical effects, turn-based RPG. It looks really neat. Frenchy RPG. Yeah, it's an FRPG, a frog.
For PG.
Yeah, for PG. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, I also was pleasantly surprised to see some excitement behind Gears of War E-Day. But Grubb, coming out of the Summer Game Fest announcement season, I think the two most excited titles for me, the two titles I'm excited for the most is Assassin's Creed Shadows still, and Mario and the Luigi Brothership.
Yeah, it looks real good. I've been watching that trailer a lot with the kids, and every time I watch it, I get pretty excited.
Just seeing the tone of that announcement trailer just makes me wish that Nintendo had like a super dedicated animation studio, and I know that they're working with Illumination, but like Pixar short style adventures with Mario and Luigi. No, we don't need any dialogue. We just need their faffing about.
That would be awesome.
Type of noises. And I would buy so much of however they would want to feed that to me.
I still really regularly watch those Pikmin shorts that Nintendo did internally, and they crushed those. I would love for them to do more stuff like that. That would be great.
My pitch of and I know that we don't do seasons with our podcasts because we just keep going with our podcast.
We're almost at the end of season 1. Don't worry, everybody. We'll get there.
Oh, cool. We'll get there eventually, guys. We should change Bombcast Revengeance to Brothership Revengeance for season 2 of the podcast.
Yeah. Perfect. Let's do it.
Done.
Let's see. Let's round out this top 20-ish. Let's see. Number 9 is Fable. 10 is Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is 11. Then it goes Dragon Age: The Veilguard, South of Midnight, Lego Horizon Adventures at number 14. Life is Strange Double Exposure, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle at number 16. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater at 17. Then Star Wars Outlaws, Super Mario Party Jamboree, and Mixtape at number 20. Again, some of these games were announced previously, so they're not going to get as big of a bump as some of these other ones. But again, most of this sounds about right.
I'm a little worried about Indiana Jones, not going to lie, Grubb.
Yeah, I don't know how to anticipate what that game should do at this point. I really like machine games. I really like Indiana Jones. I want to, right. It's definitely like hit me, but what I'm realizing is it missed a lot of kids like they were just a little bit younger than me. And it's like a lot of that generation just does not care about Indiana Jones at all.
Yeah, that's me.
Right. Yeah. I think it's a lot more people than I realized a couple of years ago, where I was like, no, Indiana Jones is right there with Star Wars. Duh. And it's like, no, actually, the Star Wars was able to renew its interest and Indiana Jones did not. But I don't know. I think a lot of it will come down to if that game is, if the action is tight and then the storytelling is as good as the Wolfenstein games, then I think it'll really hit a strong audience and have a chance to break out even beyond the confines of the fandom for Indiana Jones. I'm hopeful.
I can't wait, Grubb, for portions of the internet audience to say, "Oh my God, Indiana Jones is woke now."
Yeah, he's punching Nazis. What the hell's going on? Can't we just have a conversation? Can't we just?
Oh my God.
We just solve this with the marketplace of ideas.
Go put an egg in your shoe and beat it.
I did a video about a kind of a reskin game of Punch Out where you punch Nazis, and a bunch of people in my comments eventually, it got posted in like one of those Kotaku in action things, and then they all came and were like, "Oh, you're going to solve this with violence?" I'm like, yes, I am. You're correct.
Yeah,
you found me. All right, let's take a quick break. When we get back, we got a lot more headlines, including a new old Star Wars game coming to the Switch this August, right after this. All right, we are back. Let's get right back into it with Aspyr is bringing another classic Star Wars game to Switch this August. This is from Jim Norman at Nintendo Life. Aspyr has today announced that 2002's Star Wars Bounty Hunter will be blasting onto Switch on the 1st of August in an all-new package. You might remember this third-person action-adventure from back in the GameCube days. In it, you play as Jango Fett before his little run-in with Mace Windu, obviously, on a mission to capture a mysterious dark Jedi. Expect all the trappings of classic Mandalorian combat as you blast, scorch, and fly your way through the campaign. As you might expect, this isn't a straight-up port, and Aspyr has made some adjustments to the original game. This version boasts visual enhancements, improved textures, new dynamic lighting effects, and a flashlight tool to assist in dark areas. Oh, weird. That's also a Boba Fett skin, or there's also a Boba Fett skin, which can be unlocked by completing the main campaign. I am very excited about this because I like this game a lot. This is a good. This is actually a good game. It's not a great game, but that doesn't. Who cares? I want my Star Wars games to be good and kind of like small and weird, and not like having to like have aspirations beyond that. Let's just do this.
This was a phase of Star Wars games that I felt like were all gems, not like diamonds, but gems.
Yes, right. You're gonna find some precious rock underneath the cruft of whatever new Star Wars game you're getting. This is definitely that. It's got a cool like scanning mechanism where like you go, basically you're playing as a bounty hunter. You're playing as Jango Fett who has to find bounties. And so you might like walk into a space and see a bunch of aliens and you need to like scan them and find the right one. And the game will like tell you their crimes and stuff like that. It is really neat. I think it's got a good look. And then everything else is like good enough. And it's kind of what I want from that game. Yep.
Hey, listen, this is Jango Fett. My name is Jan. Of course I'm going to like this.
Yes. And Mechanized is saying, did this already come out on other stuff or is this new? I think this is new. Did Bounty Hunter come out on anything other than the GameCube? I think it was GameCube and Xbox.
PS2.
It was PS2? PS2, okay.
Yeah. This was available, I think, through like their weird, like not quite remaster or putting stuff on to like Sony's equivalent of like their virtual console, but this was playable. It just wasn't remastered at all.
Yeah, and now I am remembering Flam Mandrew in chat says it's on PS4. That's right. This was like something that happened several years ago. It did come out on PS4 and now it's on Switch, so that's great.
Yeah, this was when this was part of that whole package of titles, like with the Ape Escape 2, 3, but it was only the PAL version versus the NTSC version.
Oh yeah, they did that as well. Yeah,
on group.
Yeah, weird. Hey, I'm just glad that they're sticking with bringing more of these games forward in a variety of way possibles. Is Bounty Hunter on PC? I don't know if it ever did that. I hope that this is a precursor to that because that would be cool as well. Of course, I could just play on my Switch, and I probably will. All right, Steam introduces new game recording feature, and it works with Steam Deck. This is from Claire Lewis at GameSpot. Steam has just introduced a new feature for players called game recording. Though it is still in the beta testing phase, game recording is exactly what it sounds like. A built-in feature that allows users to record and share gameplay footage. Players can use game recording to record a quick clip of a particularly impressive 360 no-scope kill in a live service game, record an entire RPG campaign playthrough, and everything in between. Clips can then be edited as needed and then uploaded for the world to see. Game recording has two modes, background recording and on-demand recording. In background recording mode, gameplay is continuously saved to the player's preferred drive. On-demand recording mode can be used at will, stopping and starting it via a manual input from the player. Steam's new game recording tool also allows players to use the Steam timeline and event markers included in the mode to locate and mark high-intensity moments in the recording. So pretty cool stuff here. A lot of stuff that's like very familiar. There's a lot of tools out there that do this, but big thing here is this is going to work on the Steam Deck. So that's a really neat thing. They've been working on this for a while because they did mention they want to have something like this on the Steam Deck. But then just having it built into Steam makes a lot of sense. I think they do mention here, game recording works with any and all games on Steam and is also compatible with Steam Deck, allowing players to record and share clips from their Steam Deck to their PC or phone. Additionally, game recording can be exported in .mp4 formats for editing outside of Steam. One would hope that would be the case.
Cool.
Yeah, this is neat. I definitely found myself, Jan, in situations where I'm like, okay, where's the record button so I can record what just happened on the Steam Deck? And there hasn't been one. And it's like a glaring missing feature for me because it is something I use frequently on the Switch. And then I've been like, well, that's just not a normal feature to have on one of these devices. So it's not strange that it's not here. Also, I wouldn't want it to hurt performance because you're taking up CPU cycles usually to record these things in the background. They'll probably use like the AMD stuff that is in the background, so it'll probably be on the GPU. But still, it could have an effect on performance. Those aren't the most powerful chips in the world. Hopefully what they've done here is figure out a way to do most of this without seeing any real detriment to the gameplay. I'm hopeful.
Yeah, that's what my hope would be, especially having this feature launched, now versus when like the Steam Deck originally launched and just like in Steam's history. This would be very welcome. I would love this and am going to use this so often.
Totally. Yes. And it's, games are going to be running at lower resolution and with lower graphical effects on the Steam Deck. And I'm like, yeah, that usually doesn't matter for one of these moments. I just want to capture what happened and have it be silly. And I think the lower visual fidelity is not going to bother anyone really. I'll be glad to have those moments more than anything else.
I'm trying to think because when I know that I like a game that I'm playing on the Steam Deck, Grubb, I'm taking screenshots every 5 seconds.
Same.
I'm trying to think of my cadence of like, okay, well, I guess it'd be similar to my cadence of taking short clips or videos on the Switch. So just as frequent then.
Yes, constantly. I'll have to make some room on the SD card, which I already have like the 1 terabyte internal storage Steam Deck, and then I put a 1 terabyte SD card in there as well. And I have some space for games, but not a ton. I should probably just delete a few of those and dedicate some of that space to these video clips. I also hope that the management of this stuff is mostly like the console experience. I know this thing's a PC, but on PlayStation and the way it works on a lot of other stuff, but it's like, there's a dedicated set of space and maybe you can like set that off to the side. So if you do install a game, the game is aware of that space is already reserved. So don't overwrite that for the game. Let me know that now we won't be able to record as much. I kind of wanted to just work without me having to think about it too much. And that's been the Steam Deck, the way the Steam Deck has worked, but this is a global Steam feature. So I hope it's very also refined for the Steam Deck as well. Would you expect that?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, like even getting to the screenshots on the Steam Deck isn't the easiest thing to do.
Yeah. It's a little obtuse.
But like once you upload it from your Steam Deck to your Steam account, you can at least access it fairly easy on your phone. If
that's true.
That is your prerogative. So that aspect is nice. Streamlining that process, just so I can post my dumb clips would be ever so sweeter.
Yep. Just the dumb stuff I do in Elden Ring mostly, where it's like, yep, I fell off that edge trying to turn around again. Yeah, dumbass.
Grubb, what is the oddest thing still installed on your Steam Deck? Because I can tell you mine.
Oh, I have no idea. I have so much installed. I can't remember. What is yours?
Suicide Squad.
There it is. How did that run on Steam? Was that okay on Steam Deck? I don't know if I ever tried it on there.
It was okay.
Let's see if I could just like look at my library and see if anything stands out. Yeah, I don't know. I got a lot of weird stuff on there. This body cam game kind of like scary to me. That's still on there.
I don't want anything to do with that game.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Okay, let's keep moving here. A new official Steam controller is on the way, and yes, that's for real. This is from Brendan Hess at GameSpot. Controller manufacturer Hori has announced a new Steam-focused wireless controller launching later this year. Hori's wireless Steam controller is officially licensed by Valve, and both companies work together to ensure the gamepad and all its features are fully compatible with Steam on desktop and Steam Deck. Valve discontinued its own official Steam controller back in 2019. Man, has it really been that long? So this new collaboration with Hori is notable. As of now, it's the only controller for Steam that's in active production, which is pretty wild considering how massive Steam is. Unlike the discontinued Steam controller, which used touch-based trackpads instead of thumbsticks and a unique button layout, Hori's pad offers a more traditional design similar to most other wireless controllers. All the expected face buttons and shoulder triggers and thumbsticks are present, but there are also a few bonus features, including 4 remappable buttons, 2 on the front and 2 paddles on the back. It also has a dedicated button for Steam Big Picture Mode overlay and Steam Quick Access menu. I do wonder if you'll be able to program like the Steam recording feature to one of those reprogrammable buttons. That would be nice too. I have images of this thing I'll put up for everybody watching, but yeah, this thing looks pretty decent. It has a little bit of the stink of like a third-party controller, like from previous generations, but I kind of like the way it looks. Again, I'll bring it up in a second for everybody.
I also trust Hori. I feel like Hori has made like some of my more preferred third-party controllers.
Yeah, I'm mostly have had good experience with Hori's. I use their Split Pad Pro Compact for my Switch, and that's been honestly, it's been by far my favorite controller for the Switch. And yeah, there it is. I don't know. It's got kind of both a premium look and a cheap look at the same time, and I think I like that aesthetic. The offset sticks, and one of them living in that like basin with the D-pad there in the middle of the controller. I don't know. I kind of like the way that looks.
I don't.
Yeah, it actually reminds me of a PS5 in a lot of ways, which I feel the same way about. Where I'm like, it's ugly in an interesting way.
Yeah, and that's what we all are here at Giant Bomb.
That's what I'm aiming for, man. That's just all I want in life.
Yeah. Again, this is not a product for me, but I'm glad that the people out there that enjoy it might kind of like it.
Yeah, I think my expectation here, Jan, is that the most popular controller on Steam will continue to be the Xbox controller, which it is already apparently by far the most popular controller. I think like something like 65% of people use an Xbox controller. When you play PC games, you sit down and play, do you default to keyboard and mouse, or do you does it depend on the game?
It definitely depends on the game, and depending on where the game is in its development cycle, I'll just err towards mouse and keyboard. But my previous Xbox controller broke, so I have just been using a DualSense. And it's been okay.
Oh yeah, totally. That's
been fine.
Yeah, the Steam is the best thing about Steam by far is the Steam input stuff, where it's like they could just make just about anything work, and you can rework things and use the community layouts and things like that. That's been just a kind of a miracle.
Oh, I do enjoy using my Switch Pro controller though when I find it.
Oh sure, yeah. That's when you use that on, so you're saying you would use that on Steam? Does it change the button layout around? It should, right? Where it's like it knows where the A and B button, how they've swapped.
I purposely in my head though put it to Xbox formation though, because I don't want to look down at the bastardization of the formation.
Very cool. All right, let's move along here. The next story is Hitman 3's first celebrity target sees Agent 47 taking on Conor McGregor. This is from Ben Lyons at Game Reactor. IO Interactive has been working wonders with continuing to make Hitman 3 and the world of assassination entertaining. The various updates and new missions keep the challenge and thrill of stepping into the shoes of Agent 47 alive and well, and this will only be expanded on in the near future, because the Danish developers teaming up with the Irish MMA fighter Conor McGregor to welcome him into the world of assassination as one of Agent 47's next targets. I guess I don't love when people work with Conor McGregor because I think it kind of sucks. But at least I'll get to kill him, So there you go.
You think that him leaning into how the public perceives him?
Yes, I think that is based on watching that Roadhouse movie. I think his plan going forward is to go into various industries and trade on his perception and like his tough guy mentality or whatever, and sort of like the local asshole like that. Everyone is like, hey, avoid him. He wants to fight. Like he has that energy, and I think he's going to bring it to all these projects to try to get some money for the long run. I don't like Conor McGregor, but I love Hitman. I wish they wouldn't give him money. But oh well. That's how this goes sometimes, and I at least he's not in a heroic position. At least I don't have to play a game as him. I can go in there and be like, he's a villain, and treat him as such.
Yeah, there's that balance, because I mean, you only give him money once, and you could keep offing him.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, listen, it's however anyone feels about this, whatever. But yeah, it's I don't know. When I will see this stuff, it's like I'm so grateful anytime I have a thing I'm a fan of, where like the people responsible for it have just done a great job of avoiding ever being shitheads or working with shitheads, and that's so rare that it's like I'm grateful for that. But in these moments, I'm like, okay, this is something that is precious to me in Hitman, and they are doing something I find a little distasteful. What's the solution here? Well, I don't really have a good answer to that. I'm just gonna, I'll criticize it. I wish they wouldn't have done this, but I don't know. A lot of people don't have the same feelings towards Conor McGregor that I do, and at a certain point I just accept that.
Yeah, I would love to do this on the site, but I'd also not. I'd also love to not see Conor McGregor's face in any capacity.
And there's plenty of other stuff we can do in Hitman at any one time. All right. Well, we're coming in a little bit short. So you know what I was thinking we could do is, if anyone wants to ask a question, do a little Grubb snacks, feel free to use that ask a question button there on giantbomb.com. But we'll also wrap up stuff maybe a little bit early today. I got plenty to do, to get ready for my trip. So that'd be good. Okay.
Thanks.
While we have that happening, I do have a poll question that I will get prepped. Let's do that. It's right over here, and hit refresh to make sure we have the most up-to-date information. All right. Have you beaten Shadow of the Erdtree? I asked this yesterday. I know it's pretty early, and that is reflected in the results, where 4% said, yes, I've beaten it. 30% said, no, I haven't. And 65% said they haven't started playing it. So, 1 to 6. So 1 out of 6 people have beaten Shadow of the Erdtree already. That's actually relatively high for so quickly after the release. I am probably about halfway through, I think, Jan.
There we go.
Yeah, I've probably been playing for about maybe 15 hours, 20 hours. And I feel like I'm about halfway through, but I'm not trying to do everything either. So maybe there's a lot more that I'm not realizing.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna hang back for this one and visit this revisit the Erdtree a little later.
Yeah. What's keeping you busy instead?
I've been playing it a lot of 1,000 times Resist,
right,
and still really enjoying that. There are new layers to this onion that keep blooming, and I'm continuously surprised and pleased with it. I also want to circle back to other things. I realized I didn't hit credits in Infinite Wealth, and after coming back from Maui, I do want to revisit Hawaii, and also to prep for my Japan trip. I guess I should also just dive back in.
Yeah, you can do both. Two birds with one stone there. Yeah, so you said you never saw credits in that game, because the ending in that game is actually pretty powerful stuff. I like it quite a bit.
Yeah. And then, Grubb, I don't know if I want to go back to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, Rebirth got to a point very quickly where it's like, I get it. And it's I get it, parentheses positive, where it's a well-made game. I see what they're going for here. There's a lot of stuff. It's not necessarily for me, but I was still enjoying what I was playing. But I get what they were going for, and I'm gonna go play something else now. Go try to get what it's trying to do. So I kind of am in the same position as you, I think.
And I know that we're near the halfway mark of the year, so Game of the Year is quickly approaching, and that sounds absolutely terrifying and stressful. So I will visit Shadow of the Erdtree soon. I just need to get my PC character to Moog so we can visit the Erdtree. But I was thinking this, even though I know that I haven't completely finished Infinite Wealth. Infinite Wealth is that's it for me, baby.
Yeah, God, that's really up there. That's a good one.
I know Shadow of the Erdtree may sway me to a different side, but Infinite Wealth, baby. It's a good game.
It's really good. Absolutely. God, I kind of was like, when I was doing a recount of what stuff I play, and that didn't even come to mind. I'm like, oh, it should have, because it's so good. All right, let's see here. Staff questions. What's Jeff Bakalar's fucking deal, says Slay McAwesome? He has to put up with us constantly. That's his deal.
Yeah, that's the deal.
Yeah.
You think we're all sweet daisies all the time?
No, the way we are to him on the Voicemail Dump Truck, the other episode the other day, where we're just giving shit the whole time. That's what it's like all the time for him. So yeah, you can imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, he is definitely the mom of the team without realizing he's the mom of the
100%. Yes. Baccalaureate's mommy.
team.
Let's see here. From Nylock, how much do leaker shutdowns affect your job? Not too much. You know, the way that these people are getting access to their information for the most part is very different from how it works for me. So like that story about how there were people paying money to the people who had access to the YouTube backend to get their information like that. I've never even met someone that was like offering that, never even talked to them in my DMs. They never approached me to like, be like, hey, I have stuff. Do you want to give me $100? I'm like, yeah, I would never do that, but they never even reached out in the first place. So it's a whole other world and it hasn't really affected me too much. And, yeah, I'm going to keep doing stuff the way I've been doing it because it's been working fine for me. And it's like I've said before, I feel an obligation to do it for this job. But yeah, it's definitely the kind of thing where when this happens and I see these companies like getting a little bit more defensive, I worry a little bit. But hey, if no rumors come across my desk, oh well, we got other stuff going on.
Yeah.
Let's see here from Mike Sweeney. What's Jan's latest cooking project?
That's a good question. I didn't know where to report this, Grubb. This isn't a cooking project per se, but I am giving a double thumbs up to Wendy's saucy nugs.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I hate them. They were good. Felt like a garbage human being afterwards.
Well, that's what you want from nugs.
That's what you want from nugs. I tried the spicy garlic parm. Mwah. You know what is terrible? Do not go to Costco. Do not go into the frozen food section and do not buy the 30-pack of frozen shrimp tempura that you can easily throw into your air fryer because now you just have shrimp tempura at the ready.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that. You got to live a more careful life over there. Dr. Randall says, you guys a fan of this Wyatt 6 stuff? I've not been paying much attention recently because I've been busy. From a distance, I like the sound of it because I like when wrestling is really dumb and weird. But yeah, I don't know. I get a lot of people are like, it's not working for them.
I kind of like it. I just don't know how they move forward with it. And like, I see people saying, yeah, they're ditching the paranormal. They're ditching the paranormal and going with spooky instead. It doesn't quite feel like they're ditching the paranormal. They're leaning into both sides, and I think it's just hard for long-term booking. To deal with that. And I realize, yes, we have a character like The Undertaker, but even then, I don't know where the ceiling is for the Wyatt 6.
Yep. Dark Aileron says, how close were you to actually having Phil Spencer on the couch this year? It was, it was confirmed. They were going to do it. It was going to, like I mentioned before on this show, that he was going to do it with Sarah Bond and Matt Booty, and about a week and a half before we were going to do everything, they're like, oh, actually, we can't do it. Sorry. And they offered some concessions there that just didn't feel right for the show. So I said no to that. But it was like, we got the sense early on it was going to go down that way, even though it was confirmed it's supposed to happen. So we're not too surprised, and probably was the best choice for them. And I understand that. So they made it clear that it's like, this does not mean it's never going to happen again. So we'll probably be able to make it happen again at some point in the future. All right, let's do one more. Ben H., have you ever played Final Fantasy VIII? I have not.
Yes. Took me a second, but yes, I love gun blades.
Yeah,
I love leather jackets with fur collars.
I do like all that stuff. But I've never played Final Fantasy VIII. I'm not going to promise Final Fantasy VIII because I was thinking I'm going on this trip, and I think I'm either going to start Chrono Trigger or Earthbound, one or the other. But I was like, maybe I want to play Earthbound, and then Mother 3 on the site. So maybe I'll do Chrono Trigger instead. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
And those are the games I'm going to catch up on. So I'm not going to throw Final Fantasy VIII onto that list. Okay. I think what we should do now is talk about the poll question that we have coming up for you on tomorrow's show. Which of these is your most anticipated game coming out of Summer Game Mess? And these are the 4 games that were the most wishlisted on that IGN playlist: Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Doom: The Dark Ages, Astrobot, and Gears of War E-Day. Go ahead and vote for one of those. Obviously, if you have a different answer and none of those are appealing to you, you could put something in the comments. Feel free to do that. Maybe we'll even read some of those. All right, Jan, we should probably tell people what we have going on the site for the rest of the week and all that good stuff.
Yes, later today we have voicemail dump truck popping off. Tomorrow, another episode of Game Mess Mornings to end the week, as well as Unprofessional Fortnite. The GB Junior crew is running the asylum, as we will have Turbo Sean, Nikki, myself, and good old Shitley Myers descending onto the Fortnite map, and then probably BCR tomorrow. Probably.
I can help with that. I can be around for that. Yeah.
Let's Grubb. Let's just do a quick ranking. We'll catch up with the games that we've also been playing, but let's do a quick ranking of Hitman levels.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
Let's do a Mount Rushmore of modern Hitman levels.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. We could do that. 100%. All right. Jan, thank you so much for spending today talking with me about video games, man. I really appreciate it.
It's my favorite way to start a Thursday. Hey, go watch Star Wars Acolyte. It's pretty okay. It's pretty good.
I need to catch up on it. Oh, I'm finishing right now, kiddo.
Baby.
There's an ant? Oh, no. Okay, I'll come help get it. All right, so I got to go take care of it, everybody. So thank you for watching. You're the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye. Oh, no.